Slight change to my settings, so welcome to part 2. We're now going to be looking at the material editor. Your material editor is this one here. It's fourth in from the end, next to the teapots. Teapots are your render settings, don't forget. Click on your material editor, and the first time you open it, it will open in what we call the slate editor, which will look something along these lines. What I would like you to do is go to modes and change it to the compact material editor. Partially because it's easier to use, also partially because it allows you to see what you're doing. Now, this is where there may be some things that are a bit different. You'll want to start on a blank square, and I'm just seeing if I can find, because I'm on a different version, I have slightly different settings. So you're going to have to look for the settings that I tell you about in your in the version that you're using. I'm going to start off with the body of my minion. So I've got a blank template. I'm going to go over here. I've clicked on the diffuse colour, and I'm going to set my diffuse colour to a nice, slightly orangey yellow. I'm going to click OK to that. Now, glossiness, I'm going to bring down because minions aren't really all that shiny. Reflectivity, which is specular for you guys, I'm going to bring that down as well. They tend not to shine very much. A little bit of shine. There we go. And then you're going to drag and drop onto your main capsule. So that's set the body to yellow. You are also going to add it to 2 cylinders that make up your arms, again by dragging and dropping. So there's that bit. On another blank template, your diffuse colour, you want to set it to something quite light because they've got shiny chrome coloured eyeglasses, which is the bit that we're going to do with this now. This time, you're going to want to turn the reflectivity up as far as it will go, and the same with the glossiness, because we want it to look metallic. And same thing as we did before, you just click and drag over, this time to the tube if you use the tube, or capsule if you use the capsule. That will apply that onto there. Now, minions wear gloves, which are black, and shoes, which are black. Another blank material. This time, we're going to set the colour all the way down to black for the diffuse setting. So remember, you're looking for the diffuse setting on this. Glossiness. Probably going to want to turn the glossiness down. Put it down to about 5. There we go. And reflectiveness. We'll put the reflectiveness down as well. We don't want it all the way down to 0, but we do want it down. We're just going to drag this and apply it. In fact, we're not going to do it that way. We are going to select our control, click and select all of the things that we want black, so all 3 fingers, the circles for the hands and the shoes, and this time you're going to click the assign material to selection button. That will put it on everything at the same time. Oh, missed the headband. Headbands are black as well, so let's put that on our headband cylinder as well. Really cool. Right, we've got some colour on there now. Next thing we're going to need is we're going to need a picture for the eye. So I'm going to go to Google Chrome, and I'm going to search in here for iris. And when we get to the iris bit, I'm going to go to images, and we're going to pick the picture that we like, that we can edit, and we're going to crop it in Photoshop. So while you guys are cropping it in Photoshop, I'm going to quickly whiz onto my Google Drive and get the one that I did earlier. Whiz. So search for an eye, that you want to use. You might also find coloured contact lenses would work for this. Because you'll usually find, if you find a coloured contact lens picture, it will already be set up. I'm going to download this. This is one I did earlier. So my Minion is going to have a blue eye. Now I know that that's gone straight into my downloads folder, so I don't need to worry about that. Back to 3ds Max, and you're going to want to have another blank material. Set the colour of the material to white. Eyes are quite shiny, so we'll turn the reflectivity up quite a bit as well. Set everything right up on that. And then back, remember reflectivity for you guys is specular. And then on the diffuse settings, there's a little grey box next to the colour. You click the grey box, it will bring up a material/map browser. You want to go to bitmap. That will load this section, and you need to navigate your way to the download folder. I want that one. Put it in there. Right, now this is firstly not applied to anything. Also, we won't see it unless we click this button. So I'm going to click there, I'm going to drag that over. Now you see all those little dots? They are all copies of the eye. So I'm going to resize the eye up. I'm going to resize it up equally because it's already a circle, so you want to keep it roughly the same. Now Minion's eyes aren't all that big. Take the tile off so we can actually see where it is. Let's go for 10. And then to get it to go into alignment, you want to play with the offset. You can just click where it is and drag until it moves around to where you want it. And if you watch, it should be able to update itself as it goes. And the height offset, let's get this in the middle. Don't worry about the fact that the rest of the circle is black at the moment. And we're just going to play around a little bit with the size to get it level. Let's bring that width offset back down a bit. Back in the middle here. You can just keep scrolling when you're doing this. Right, there we go, there's an eye. And the height, lift them up a little bit. You can just keep scrolling when you change these. It will go off the top of the screen and come back on the bottom. I'm not sure how they managed to get it to do that, but it works. So let's go back to here. Let's click to show everything. Just reapply that. Now theoretically, that should be white in the background when we render our model. Let's just do a quick render and find out. And mostly works. If it doesn't, it should work. If it doesn't work, go back into your eye that you put on and just change the size until it fits. Minions usually have quite small irises, but for some reason this one doesn't want to play. Bring this offset down. Set to 0. Draw the width. Bring the height down. Going down, 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 down. Okay, we have to set our width to a negative value to get it to come in. So this is a tad large now. You could try it with a tile to make it smaller. You just have to be careful of where it actually would end up. And don't forget to tile it on both. So I've got a little bit of eye showing there still. I might just get rid of this, turn the height up a little bit more. Oops, not that much more. There we go. Close enough. Close enough for now. So we now have an eye. We have a little metal thing that goes around the eye. We have gloves and everything else. What we don't have is a mouth or dungarees. So we need to now go and create our dungarees. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to right click and I'm actually going to clone the body. There is a reason for this. Click OK on that there. You can minimise or close your material editor for the moment because you don't need it. You do need to go to the resize and you're going to uniform scale up very slightly from your original size. Into the modifier tab, you're going to want to leave the edit poly there, but you're going to want to change capsule. So click yes and increase the number of height segments. Now you will find the bottom will do something very strange at this point, because you're adding more segments to it. Let's go about there. If it doesn't seem to work out very well doing it this way, which this one actually isn't, you can just do a new capsule for it. So I'm just going to do a new capsule here. Which will work out slightly better. Move your capsule into place so it's inside your first capsule, roughly. Make it bigger so that it comes on the outside of the capsule. And you just need to position it so that it's over the top of your current work. So it might need to be slightly bigger. Down a bit. So let's go down. Make this slightly bigger again. There we go. Ready for a pair of dungarees. Back into your modifier tab, modifier list, and you are going to want to be on edit polys again. Select your polygons, and let's start out just by getting this bottom section flattened out, so exactly the same as we did before. Control click your way around the bottom section, trying to make sure you get all the parts. It can be a bit difficult when they've got feet in the way. Grow your selection out, turn it round, get your move tool and just bring it up so you're flattening the body off a little bit. Keep an eye on the bottom, but you can move it down after you've levelled it out. It doesn't matter if a little bit of the original Minion body starts to show. Shrinking down as we go. There. Down onto the last one, and we're just going to bring that in. And what we might find is if we go for the whole shape, click to select the whole shape, we'll just move it forward very slightly. There we go, that works. Right. So that's lined up. Back to your edit, back to your poly selection. Grab this move tool for a moment. Now ideally you would have more sides and squares and stuff in this than I have, but we're going for getting this sorted. You're just going to bring it down to probably about here, remembering that dungarees need to go up over the arms. Close enough. That'll do for me. Take your time doing this and sort of position it out. Once you've got them selected, just press the delete key. And you can then just go through and select the areas that you want to delete to make up the dungarees. So we're going to do that. You're going to need to delete some stuff from the side, so remember you're holding the control key down, because at the moment his arm is coming out of the middle of the dungarees. So we'll get rid of those bits. Get around to his back. Let's just move this over so we can see what we're doing. Go around again. Back on the select tool. We're just going to go over here. Take these ones out. Down to the other side. Remember to press the control key before you click. Take this out a bit, take that one out, and we'll have these ones. Hopefully I've got that the same on both sides. I'm going to press the delete key. And if you have divided your capsule up more than I have, you will have a much smoother look to this. And all that remains to do now is to get a denim texture. So you guys will be able to get this from a Google search. I'm going to download one I've already got. That's going to add that into my downloads folder. Back to 3ds Max. And now I'm going to go into my material editor again. Get another blank material. Down to the diffuse. Click the little square beside it. Double click the bitmap. Grab your denim texture. Drag it over onto there. Now that has been applied. You may still need to click the little button to actually show the texture. And just play with your size until it gets to somewhere where you can actually see the texture of the denim. So I've gone up quite high with this one because this was a smaller image that I started with. So now I have denim texture on my capsule. I'm going to apply it as well to the legs. Click on the capsule bit so that we can deselect. And there we have it, a minion with dungarees. And you can see my dungarees are quite blocky. The more polygons you have, so the more on your cylinder, on your capsule, it's a bit annoying, the more sides you have and the more height segments you have, the smoother it will look for this. Now you can add in buttons. You can grab a good old sphere or cylinder, make some little buttons, add some little buttons in there if you want to. I'm not actually going to do that, mostly because of time constraints. So what I am going to do is I'm going to close that. I'm going to move my minion into a position where he looks pretty cool, and you can see he's waving at us. So there we go, waving at us, and I'm just going to render my minion. Give him a chance to work it all out. There he is. Oh, mouth. We haven't given him a mouth. No one told me that. Shocking. Right, let's do a mouth. I'm actually going to use a capsule for the mouth. So I'm going to do a closed mouth rather than an open one. It'll be really thin capsule, like really thin. You might have to start a bit bigger to get it to work. We're going to do that. Modifier list. Go to bend. Let's make him smile. So give us a bend. So he's smiling. There we go. Grab the rotate tool and just move it around until we get it to where we want it to go. Might take a little bit of playing with for this. A bit lopsided there. There we go. Close enough. Move this up on the Z axis. Now we're going to grab our scale tool because we want this to shrink by quite a lot. Bit of a big mouth at the minute. Let's go for about there. Spin it out this way. Somewhat. Bring it down a bit more. Rightio. Move tool. I'm just going to move this into position. So we're currently in the middle of our minion. Let's grab this x-axis. Start putting it out. Down a bit. Then it's just playing around to get it lined up a little bit. I'm reading in a bit of a weird place, aren't I? Let's just get the capsule. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. Let's grab the entire shape. Or not. Let's not. Let's leave it as it is. You can do it. You'd have to control and click on the other bits to get it. I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to go to my material editor. I'm actually just going to use the same black as I've used for everything else. And now he has a mouth. Yay! Smiley minion. Now we will render our production with the mouth even. Let me get all the way through. Now you can see I've done this quickly because there is a piece of yellow showing through there where I haven't got this lined up. I could have taken longer and done more on the dungarees. You may find on the dungarees that if it comes out shiny, You might want to turn the glossiness down on it and the specular down on it. Once you're happy with your minion, save the image. Let's call it Minion. Let me call it Minion 2. It's the second one I've done. Save it as a JPEG or a PNG, remembering the stuff that we looked at in Unit 220 as to quality of images versus file size. It will come up RBG 48-bit, which has 281 trillion colours in it. Click OK, and that is now exported. When you've exported your minion, upload it into your coursework slot, your classwork slot on Moodle. I will see you guys next week.